one of the things that's really interesting about this whole work-life balance is that if you think about where ideas are generated, it turns out that 97% of ideas that people have are outside the workplace. So the converse of that means that only 3% of ideas are generated in the workplace. So it actually behooves an organization to give employees flexibility and mobility, because when they're outside of the traditional four walls of an environment, they get stimulated by creative ideas and they can then bring those ideas back to the workplace. So it's beneficial from a company perspective to give employees that level of mobility and flexibility. There's definitely a line being blurred between work life and personal life, but that's huge benefit. What it means is that, yes, while I'm at home, perhaps I work a couple of extra hours on behalf of the organization, but as an employee it gives me great flexibility, because it means when I'm in the office, if I need to take care of a personal issue really quickly, I can take care of that too. And there are billions of devices connected to the network, and we expect that number to explode over the coming years. In fact, by about 2020, about 10 years from now, that number should reach about 50 billion devices. And then it really starts to take off as we look at some of these new, essentially new computing platforms, whether it's your car, you want to be productive in the car when you drive to work, whether it's the television on the wall at home, which is becoming the next compute platform, whether it's the massive proliferation of these new mobile devices like iPads and CSs and so on. We're seeing billions of devices essentially become portals into the cloud. You know, everything's becoming virtualized, it's becoming available from anywhere, and because access to information and compute and storage is available from anywhere, why can't then the employee also work from anywhere? And of course they can. So ultimately, it's not just about solving a technology problem. And yes, people will lose their laptops, they'll lose their phones. It's just the nature of who we are as people. You know, things get stolen, things get lost. Technology is certainly a piece of the solution. In fact, because of the Internet of Things and these billions of devices that are getting connected, that of course affords us a great opportunity, because as these devices get reconnected to the network, could these devices sort of quote unquote phone home and say, here I am I in the right location? Could they disable themselves automatically if they leave a building inappropriately and so on? So I think there's certainly an element of technology that can be brought to bear to help with some of these issues, but that's not the only solution. This is really a threefold answer. There's certainly technology elements that can be brought to bear, but there's people issues and there's process issues. Many employees don't even know that companies have a corporate policy around use of personal equipment. You know, many employees may not know what to do if their laptop is lost or their phone is stolen, let's say. Who do they call? What's the process? Are they too embarrassed to call? So one of the things that companies should do and IT organizations should do is encourage employees to be forthcoming when they lose equipment. I mean, it's going to happen to all of us, but it's not the event itself, it's how you act after the event. So what do you do about that? So it's about educating your employee base, it's putting the right culture in place, it's about putting the right processes in place, and it's also about putting the right technology solutions in place so that perhaps they only work in your environment, they notify you if they've gone off premise, things like that. So again, a threefold solution to the problem.